Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Midwest Mythos, and we were back. Guess what? My feet ain't soaking wet. The basement's still flooding, but today we're lucky. It's dry. The studio, the equipment, still okay today. But as for tomorrow, I don't know because it's going to be rainy here in the Midwest the next few days. So just be praying for me and that the repairman finally comes out because they keep on canceling on me. And guys, thank you so much for all the attention and likes, shares, follows, all that on last week's episode. Maybe I do need to start begging on every week, so I'm gonna do it right here. So if you want to see the show grow, make sure you like, share, comment, follow, subscribe, and just do anything to help the show grow. If you or anybody you know wants to be a guest on the show, you know where to go. The link tree down below. Fill out that little report and encounter thing. You ain't even got to have an encounter. That's just the easiest way to get a hold of me besides the Instagram at Midwest Mythos. But guys, tonight's episode, it's going to be a fun one. It's actually very last minute, and I'm actually really excited for it. So as y'all know, the most appearing guest on this show, Kevin from Where the Weird Ones Are, texted me today and was like, hey, you should have my friend on your show. They're going to be in my movie I'm making. If y'all haven't heard it the last 3 times Kevin's been on the show, his Secrets of Densmore Manor. Well, guys, the things are finally rolling. He's got a Kickstarter rocking and rolling for it. It's down. The link for the Kickstarter is down in the bio below. Donate what you can to it. It's going to be awesome. I love Kevin. I know you guys love Kevin. And I know our guest today, Connie, loves Kevin. Connie,
Yes.
thank you so much for being here tonight. Why don't you tell
Thank you
everybody a little bit
for
about
having
yourself?
me.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, very last minute, but I'm glad to be here. My name's Connie, and I will be starring in Kevin's movie, Secrets of Densmore Manor. I will be playing Ava, who is a paranormal YouTuber investigator, and she goes on this journey with a couple of friends at a haunted mansion, and things don't go as planned. But besides this, I have a YouTube channel where I talk about movies, mostly scary movies, but I cover all genres. I love movies, and yeah, it's talks. Did I say my name? Talk Spooky to Me on YouTube.
Yep. All
Okay.
right. In case you guys missed it the first time, there it was the second time, and I guarantee
Yeah,
you're going to say it a few
two
more times throughout
times.
it. That is honestly one of the best names I've heard for these a channel like that. I'm not the biggest horror movie flick person, but everybody in my family is. So it's always on the TV. Horror movie review people,
Yeah.
them all the behind the scenes footage. That's what it was growing up.
Oh, I love that stuff. Uh, y Growing up, it was definitely scary movies first. Me and my brother were Irish twins. We did everything together. Movies. My sister, our older sister, hates scary movies. And she has really bad ADHD, so she can never sit down and watch a movie with us. Still to this day, it's hard to get her to watch a movie. And then as I got older, after I had kids, they were a little bit harder to watch. I was, empath and, uh, postpartum thoughts watching movies, but now I'm getting back into horror films, and I still watch them, but I don't do the deep gore, uh, there's, like,
Ye
different levels.
Right.
I'm pretty, like, mainstream, uh, I don't like crazy horror films.
Right.
I like
That
to keep it pretty. I like slashers and yeah. Um, but I'll talk about any movies because I like movies in general.
Mhm.
That's like my jam. It's definitely harder after having kids watching movies. My cat is just like she never does this. She's usually in her cat bed, but she's just like, "Hey, what's up? Hi, guys."
What's up?
And I've always wanted to act, and I tried to get into modeling when I was younger. and they said I had this was before the body positivity movement where all body types were, like, acceptable, and I'm 5 foot. I'm short. So when I went in, they were like, "You have the face for it, but there's no way. You are way too short." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then, life happened. I had kids, and I got pregnant again with my last baby, and I just was like, "I need to do something so I don't go crazy," and I made a YouTube channel with my brother, and we talked about horror films and true crime. And then he went off to go write a movie, and then I just started doing it by myself, and that's where Talk Spooky to Me came in, and, you know that Jason Derulo song, Talk Dirty to Me?
Yeah.
That's where I got it from.
All right. Because when Kevin told me about the name, that's like that whole rhythm went through my head. I was like, all right, talk spooky to me. And I was like, all right, maybe it's nice to know that I was right.
Yes, that's where it came from, and my son, he loves spooky stuff. He likes scary movies. I mean, I keep it tame, I don't show him crazy stuff because he's 4.
So a lot of
Um
classics then.
Yeah, but he would always say, "Spooky spiders" or "spooky ghost face," and so I was like, "Spooky, that's good." So that's where I got spooky from.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't. I'm trying to think of even the last horror movie I even watched. I can do like the alien, the sci-fi horror.
Oh, okay.
I can do stuff like that, but I can't do I don't do gore either, and that's not even with horror. It's like even sometimes my wife was just rewatching Game of Thrones, and I'm like, sometimes there's a little too much gore in that too for me.
I never watched Game of Thrones. I keep telling myself I want to. I have a hard time watching period pieces, but now that I'm getting older, I'm more interested to
Yeah.
watch them, but I don't gravitate towards them.
See, I've tried numerous times, but I think it's I don't like hipsters. I've never been a hipster, but I've always had hipster mentality of
Yes.
I don't wanna like or even entertain what everybody else is watching. So it's like I started watching The Walking Dead when that first came out, me and my family did.
Me same.
I was in 4th grade, 5th grade when it first came out, so I was like my parents were like, "Alright,
Oh
you
my
can watch
gosh, how old are you? If you don't
26."
mind. Okay, you're not that far behind me. I was like, when did that came out in 2010. So was it 2010?
I think either 2008 or 2010. Yeah, no, 2010 because Breaking Bad was 2008.
Okay, I think it was 2010, or 11. I was like 13 when it came out, and I remember because I've always been a huge fan of AMC.
Mhm.
Did you watch like AMC Fear Fest?
Yeah, all that kinda stuff.
Yeah,
I had my eyes over it, but everybody else in my house was watching it.
yeah. But The Walking Dead we watched. I lost interest after like the 3rd season.
See, I made it a little bit longer than that. It was like season 5, and then everybody and their brother started watching it, and I read the comics.
Yeah,
So, between everybody else watching it and then them just straying so far off the comics, like, alright, they're killing my favorite characters off in the show, but in the
yeah.
comics, they make it to the end of the comics, so I'm like, "What's the
I
point of even
guess
watching this?"
that was my because again, I watched it when it literally aired, and, once it started getting crazy popular and everybody was talking about it, that's when I dipped out. I'm the same way, like, when new stuff comes out, I don't instantly watch it, and
Hmm,
a lot of people hype it up, and they're talking about it, and I it kind of turns me away.
right.
And then
It
I wait for it to come like, I wait a while. When I'm ready and there's nothing else on, I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it a chance." And sometimes they're right, and sometimes I'm like, "This is dog shit.
Right. That's kinda how I was with, like, Stranger Things. So, I watched the 1st season when it first came out years and years ago, and then I, uh, I started rewatching it, like, when the week before the last episode came out. I was
Yeah.
like, "Alright, whatever," if I'm gonna watch it, I might as well watch it before the last episode comes out. And with that one, it was like, all right, I get why everybody was liking it, but it's like it's a real good show, but is it the greatest thing ever? Like everybody's always saying. I'm like, not really. But I had
Yeah,
to watch it.
the last season, it didn't feel like Stranger Things to me. Max, my dog's licking his paws. Um, because I watched Stranger Things when it first came out, and I watched all of it. Um, and then the last season, it didn't feel like the vibes weren't there. I
Mhm.
feel like they got lost, or they were just over it.
I feel like that was the benefit of watching it all at once. Like the
Yeah.
only thing I had to rewatch was season one. So my wife was like, "Oh, it's probably better for you because, you didn't wait this long. You haven't been
Mhm.
waiting years to see this. It's like you got to just see it all in one fell swoop." And it I get I guess maybe that made it better than what it actually was, but, like, I get what you mean, like, even going through all of it in a week, that last season did feel just kinda, eh.
Yeah. And honestly, couldn't even tell you what happened. I seen it all. Total like it I forget. All I know is Will went missing and they fought demigorgons and powers, and I can't tell you one story. I don't rem it all after I was done watching it, it all went away in my mind.
Right, and for me, I don't know, the only parts I remember, like you said, the fighting and stuff like that, but it's like the all the MK Ultra and Project Montauk references throughout it, because like, that's the only reason I wanted to even watch it is because 'cause I'm like, "Alright, I wanna see how the final actually lines up to the Montauk project and all that kinda stuff,"
Yeah.
and, I'm sitting there trying to explain it to my family who's, watched the show as it came out and stuff. I'm like, "Oh, whoa, they've been putting this stuff in front of your guys' faces the last 10 years, and what? You've never noticed it?" And they're like, "We don't even know." I'm like, "Yeah, this is, like, based on a true story." They're like, "No, it's
Yeah.
not, it's all made up," and I'm like, "No, this happened, but instead of, like, a Demogorgon, it was a Cyclops that came through." But
When I wanted to do a video about that, like, Stranger Things is based on a true story, and what's so I mean, a positive thing about the internet now is that there's so much about it, like the real history, but, this was, like, 5 years ago. There wasn't a lot of a discussion about it, and it was hard to find. I remember I could only there was, like, 1 article that you had to pay for to find out information about it, but now there's YouTube videos about it, uh, and people have brought research, like, talked about the research and documents and all this other stuff, so, like, it's now easier to discover what really happened.
right.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. I I'm very grateful for the time that we live in
Yeah.
when it comes to this kinda stuff. So, what what made you want to I know you talked a few minutes ago about how you've always kinda wanted to be like a model or act and stuff like that. What what made you wanna hop on this project with Kevin?
Uh, and well, I wouldn't say modeling was the goal. I always wanted to act. That was like the final goal. I thought
Oh, okay.
I would do anything to get to the acting goal.
Oh, alright, sorry
Uh,
about that.
no, 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 no. To, no one knows really. I've never really talked about it. Um, so Kevin and I have always talked. We want to get into the movie business, but it's so hard to break into too, especially if you don't know people or you come from not a good home or your parents can't provide like other parents can.
Yep.
You know, my mom passed away when I was super young. I was raised by a father who worked. I didn't get a car. I had to work.
Yep.
And I w- money doesn't come easily for my family growing up, never has. So uh, I didn't have college. I didn't, what most people you grow up with have. And so I always thought acting was just like a fantasy, Cinderella, not, you can't get there. It's just, you got to you got to provide for yourself now, you know? So I
Right.
had to work for food, for a car, I had to provide a roof over my head. And so eventually life happened, got married, had kids. My husband is a god and was able to provide for us. And then now that my kids are getting older, I was like, well, maybe that dream is obtainable and I might have to work a little bit harder than everybody else. And then I met Kevin through Instagram. We hit it off, and he's always wanted to make movies. I've always wanted to help make movies or, be in them. And so he's like, "Hey, I really want to make this movie. You want to do it with me?" And I'm like, "Sure." That's awesome that you asked.
That is
So
awesome.
that's how that happened.
Now now have you been to the the set yet where this is being filmed?
Yeah, we went, what day is it? Today's Sunday? No, today's
Monday.
Monday. We went yesterday. I was like, I don't even know what day it is.
Oh, nice.
We went yesterday. We went on a Sunday, and my brother came in from Ohio. I'm from Ohio, but I currently live in Massachusetts where we're filming in. And my brother went to school for film, camera work. He's a writer. So I was like, hey, he will be joining the crew. So he drove 10 hours to come with me, and we drove up to Gardiner, Massachusetts. I won't say where I'm from, where I'm living in currently in
Yeah.
Massachusetts, but we drove there, we got there, and we met with Kevin and a couple other people to take a tour of this real haunted mansion that we will be filming in. Um, Sam and Colby actually filmed an episode there on their YouTube channel.
Oh,
They're
wow.
like the paranormal hunters. They're really big on YouTube. It's called the S.K. Pierce Mansion. I believe it was built in 1875, and the guy who owned it, um, he was a chair manufacturer, and I think his wife died in there. There was rumors of either the nanny or a sex worker that got murdered in there, and a female pelvic bone was found in the basement. Yeah, so
What?
I
Th
don't know the whole history. I'm still learning. Um, but it was really cool to go there. And yeah, it was definitely built in 1875. But there's, I will say they've taken really good care of it. Um, there's actually people investigating. They were leaving their investigation as we were going in. And I guess a lot of people stay overnight and film there.
Oh,
Like they
yeah.
could catch spirits, and I'm new to this, so it was
I
really cool to see it in person.
I'm looking at images of it, and it's breathtaking.
It's crazy to see in real life. It looks like something out of a movie. It's like in this small little, to me, it looked like a small little town. Then you go up this hill and you see it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It almost we're around the same age. It reminds me kind of a little bit of the mixture of a Monster House, if you remember that movie,
my kids are obsessed with Monster House.
and then oh, what's the other? I can't think of the other house off the top of my head.
It reminds me of the Scooby-Doo episode where him and Johnny Bravo, is it Johnny Bravo? Where it was like a crossover episode. That's what this house kinda reminds me of.
That's perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's awesome that you guys get to film there. It's if it looks like it'd be good paranormal investigation place, and it with the bone being found in the basement, it kinda reminds me of, I didn't investigate there, I investigated a kitty corner to it, but have you heard of, like, the demon house before?
Is that the movie, what it's
I
based off of?
Yeah, the one that, like, Zach Baggins was real big into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I used to watch, his show when it first aired,
Oh, yeah.
and, uh, yeah, I remember what was their show called?
Ghost Adventures?
Ghost Adventures, yeah.
They're still going somehow.
Are they? Oh my
Yeah, I guess
goodness.
so. I've talked to some at this point, I've met so many people, not even from, like, doing podcasts or, like, going on paranormal investigations, just, like, in my local area of Northwest Indiana, Southwest Michigan, where they have come to,
Yeah,
yeah, and they're, like, spoiler alert, they're full of it, like, they fake so much stuff for
I
entertainment,
can
but
yeah.
it's TV, I can't blame them one bit.
No.
You gotta get the paychecks, and it's they might be faking some of the stuff, but, dude, they're still going to the places, getting footage of stuff.
Yeah, and
It
having inspiring other people to do it and to look into this stuff, I think that in itself is pretty cool.
Right, that's what got me into it, and I don't do it no more purposefully, like,
Yeah.
I still go places that has it, but I'm not calling stuff out. I went to an old abandoned well, kitty corner to the demon house is this place in, Southern Indiana called Old Hartford City Jail House, and that's
Oh,
a
I don't mess with the abandonment jails or the
it's people
hospitals.
still live in it. It's
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so, like, one of the sheriffs of town actually lives in it part-time. Um, they don't hold people there very
Yeah,
often at all, but there's a dungeon underneath the bottom, like catacombs, all this kinda stuff, holes in, like, wall, and they said there was, like, a portal to hell in the basement, but I didn't feel anything. Usually, I feel
yeah,
stuff when I walk into it, but the place is wild, but the demon house across the street, that
that felt
they well, that's where they found, like, the cadavers and stuff in the wall, and they ripped up
ooh.
the floors and found all these sigils and stuff,
Have you
and
been to the Mansfield prison in Ohio?
no, I have been invited out there. It's
Yeah.
really not that far away from me.
Yeah, because you're only a state over.
Yeah, you said Mansfield Prison?
Yeah, Mansfield prison in Ohio. They have, a haunted
Oh, the reformatory?
yeah, they have, around Halloween, you can go in to see it, like a haunted house. You just go, and they have, like I feel like I'm blanking a haunted house, like, Halloween, you go up, you buy your ticket with your friends, and they have, like, people dressed up to scare you in it. Um, I don't know if they do, like, overnight tours, but in October, it's huge. It's so busy, and I went one time, and I swear I got cursed going there. It
Oh
was I went with a D-bag, and there's a witches area where I guess I don't know, witches used to be in there. And, of course, a guy came out with a chainsaw to scare us. Um, and this dude pushes me, leaves me, pushes me, and I scrape my knuckle on the wall right where it says, like, the witches area where they cursed or did their thing, and I had a series of bad luck afterwards, and I even have a scar from that.
It's just from scraping your hand on the wall?
Yeah, he pushed me. He's
Oh,
like, "Move," and then
that
scraped me.
that's
Yeah,
awful.
but
Oh,
that place was really huge, it was big, it felt heavy.
ye yeah, there's even places like that, hospitals, I can't do hospitals. I've worked in so many different hospitals,
So did
just
I. I
when I
used
was
to be a phlebotomist.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I was just an electrician, so
Okay.
but that was I would have rather been in your position because I have had to go down into the catacombs of hospitals
Ooh.
that have been built over numerous times, so down there's, like, 100 plus years old, there's a river an actual river running through one of them, uh, and it's just dark, all you got's your headlamp,
Yeah,
crawling inside walls of old shut off parts of the
that's
hospital that nobody has
terrifying.
access I'm like, "Jesus, please watch over me,
Yes.
this is a little wild in here."
Yeah.
But so, are you I know Kevin has told on a couple shows a little bit. Are you allowed to talk about who your character is and what she like, what she does? What gets her in
Here.
yeah, yeah, what gets her here to get people excited for this?
Yeah, so I'm playing Ava. She is a up and coming YouTuber, and, her and her friends, they hear about this haunted mansion, and she's thinking this is her ticket into becoming a big star. She's kind of full of herself, but uh, eh, very selfish. She cares about herself, her channel, but she's also very smart. And, maybe at times you might see a softer version of her. But she's definitely confident and always wants to be in control. So this will be found footage. So you get to see like her in action, filming, YouTube. And then you, of course, see behind the scenes of what goes into that. And of course, it starts into a normal paranormal investigation where her and her friends go into this house. And you think you're going to see ghost, maybe. But it quickly turns into something that's darker and a lot of twists and turns. The deeper they go, the less things make sense.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I know, I for all those listening, I've gotten a little bit of y'all know how me and Kevin are. Kissy faces and rainbows with each other. But so I've heard a little bit more of it, but that what she just said right there, y'all, is I can't think of a better description of what it is to come.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Are you so? Are you? What method of acting are you going to get into for it? Like, are you going to go the whole Heath Ledger, get real method acting? Like, I am going to become this character.
Well, when he was describing it to me, I was like, "Are you talking about myself? Like, this sounds like the easiest role ever. Like, I'm just playing myself." No. No, but it's kinda I know a lot of people like this in the YouTube world, and I was a cheerleader back in the day, so I know some, excuse my language, some bitches. And although Ava isn't A-B-I-T-C-H, she's kind of, um, super confident in herself, and she has a goal, and she will achieve that goal. She kinda reminds me of a beauty pageant contestant, you know?
Oh yeah,
And, uh, I grew up watching movies like that. I'm a girly girl, but I also uh loves darker things.
Right.
Like my colors are pink and black. Like that's my soul. But as for acting, I think this will be not easy, but uh, I press play on a camera almost weekly. I have my own YouTube channel, so um it's just when I do record, obviously I'm myself, but you have to, you know, put on a little bit
Yeah,
to make it interesting.
you gotta have
So,
your character.
yeah. So I am Connie, and when I record, I am Connie, but with a little bit of sparkles. And so when I do Ava, it's gonna be 1,000, you
Oh,
know?
crank it up.
So I'm gonna crank it up, channel some Mean Girl, Legally Blonde vibes mixed in with a found footage horror film.
Alright, legally mixed
Legally
for
Blonde meets Paranormal Activity.
that's gonna be that is gonna be interesting to watch nonetheless.
But as for, like, method, I don't think I could bring her home because my kids would be like, "What the heck?" Uh, but honestly, you gotta wing it sometimes.
You
You
really
gotta
do.
figure out what flavor you're working with.
And that's the beauty of 1, doing found footage, and
Yeah.
2, working with Kevin.
Yeah.
That man is a straight chicken wing with how much he wings it, and
Yeah.
you would never know.
You gotta what was the saying? "I'm a peacock, you gotta let me fly." For
Oh,
but what w I know we just met, and I wasn't able to dive deep into you, but so what do you do? Like, what do you mostly talk about? What do you like? Give me
this
the rundown.
so, I really get into people's encounters with, the paranormal, cryptids, weird local history and legends. Like, it doesn't even have to be anything paranormal, like, it could just be, "Alright, this weird on this day in 1885, everybody in the
Yeah,
town woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, went outside, and started dancing," type deal. Or, "Hey, we found the world's largest gold nugget or something under there." Or, "This kid was walking out and tripped on a rock, and it turns out it was an asteroid," kinda deal. Like,
that's fun.
just kinda stuff like that. I just wanna get people's stories. I treat everything as we're sitting around a campfire and we're meeting for the first time, or if we known each other, just catching up. I like to know people's stories. My whole life, I've always been a listener. I'm not very much of a talker because I also have, I stutter a lot and I have a mind that moves at a million miles an hour. So it's very hard for me to slow my mind down to the pace that my mouth can move. So I'm already thinking about 2 steps ahead in the conversation.
Yeah.
So I like to just sit and listen. I always have. There could be a room of people, and I'll introduce myself. We'll talk. Hey, how about you? This, and then let me know your life. Just somehow I always end up getting people telling me their life stories, and I've
Are
always
you the
loved it.
youngest?
So I'm the oldest of
Oh, okay.
4, uh,
Okay.
but I have a. I guess it comes from I have a massive family. Just on my dad's side, I have at least 200 cousins.
I feel like we are long lost something because my dad's side of the family is huge. I am one of 5. And, I've always been a listener. I love when my grandma and all my older relatives talk and tell stories about the past and their life, and I just that was my favorite part of growing up and visiting families. I get to listen to their life stories,
Yes.
and that's when I started YouTube. I'm like, it was kinda hard because it was like what do I talk about? You know, I want people to tell me their I yeah, I totally understand you.
Exactly, and I know it's it's hard right now because like, you know how it is, like, it with a channel that it doesn't have as much reach as we want. Life would be easier if it had reach.
Yeah,
My goal eventually to the point is I will be able to have numerous people talk to numerous people a day just to tell their life stories. And for me right now, it's easiest to talk about the cryptids and stuff like
yeah,
that because that's what I'm into. I've always been into it. I love researching it. I love going out into the field and hunting them.
yeah,
I love hearing people's encounters with them because I've had numerous encounters myself, and it's very therapeutic for people as well.
yeah.
Some people they find it very hard to get these things out, and I like being a safe space for people. But I think that also comes with being a listener as well. Like people are more akin to talk to you when you're a listener, and you're not just gonna
Because
sit there
you
and
don't have a
talk.
motive, you're not gonna be biased, you're not looking to, pick apart their story. You're really just interested in what they have to say and just feel their story.
Right.
Yeah.
The only downside though that comes to it is I am a there's my nickname's always been the big fish, but that's just from I used to fish tournaments and I would always get the big fish. But and as like one of the things that's come into been part of my life is I've had a very difficult, weird life. And when I always kept it a secret. I would lie a lot about like what's going on and stuff like that. And life just tried to make everything sound normal. But it was one of those things like whenever I did finally tell people, it was so outlandish. It was like a big fish story. The fish was like everybody thought the fish was this big, and I was saying it was this big. The reality is the fish was that big, but
I always say, "I can't make this shit up."
y-
I tell people this, I'm like, "You probably think I'm lying," and then I have to over explain myself, and I'm like, "Honestly, I can't make this shit up. This is what really happened. I'm not fibbing, I'm not fucking with you.
eh,
You can't make this shit up."
you can't. And
Yeah.
with that being said, is I do have all these experiences and all these stories, so I'm able to relate to a lot of people, but I always feel like people are thinking I'm trying to make it about me
Yes.
when I'm talking to
I'm
them.
connecting with everything you're saying right now. I totally agree. It's like, "Oh, you have a dead parent? Same. You
Yes,
grew up
yeah,
poor? Same. You
it
grew up without no food, gas, electric? Same. You come from a big family? Same. You've been kidnapped? Same. You've been home invasion? Same. Your kid dies? Same. You military? Same. Like, moved 1,000 times? Like, I could list everything that has happened. And it sucks when you're trying to make someone feel comfortable during a conversation and be like, I know what you're feeling, what you're going through." And it's hard. I feel you. It's hard because you're really not trying to be like, well, I've, you, you don't know shit. I agree. I know what you're
yeah,
saying. Yeah.
and that's one of the things I like but about doing this podcast and stuff like that is, all right, the listeners may be hearing the same story on my end and numerous times throughout, a year span or something like that. But the guests are a lot of the time more receptive to hearing that because they've never heard that before. And a lot of the time
Yeah.
they think they're crazy and that they haven't had this happen before. And then when I've had something similar happen, that tends to break down the wall and they're a
Yeah.
lot more susceptible to talking. And people out in the audience are like, whoa, hey, I'm not the only one. Let's talk about this kind of stuff because you know I I didn't know that there was many other people that could walk into growing up, walk into a room and be like, "Man, something bad happened here," or, "Hey, this is not a good area," or, "Hey, this is a really nice feeling area, good
Yeah,
vibe kinda deal," and, you know, but now I know there's a ton of people just like that.
yeah. It's, there's, like, this trend where I don't have TikTok, but I used to, and so I'll watch, like, Instagram reels, and people will post, um, just stuff that we've done as a kid. It's like, "Oh, when mom and dad leaves the house, we record ourselves singing," and it's like the everybody does the same song, and people in the comments are like, "Do we not have an original, like, original thought or memory, history? Like, we all done the same thing as a kid?" It's weird though, but they're, like, private. You don't tell anybody these things, but we've all did it.
The same experience.
Yeah. Like
It
looking at the moon when you're driving home.
it's chasing me, mom, it's chasing me.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, one of the things that broke my heart, that made me realize this the most was I thought I had a very unique experience of I thought I had the coolest bedroom in the entire world growing up until I was, like, 20. I believe that, my childhood bedroom was no kid had it cooler, uh,
Yeah.
was a fully decked out SpongeBob room. I had that tiny little SpongeBob TV. I had a Gary the Snail table in there that had a hamper in it, and my mom, she took she she was a stay-at-home mom, so she had a little bit of time, she painted my whole entire room, like, bikini bottom, all that kinda stuff, and I thought I had the coolest room on the entire planet. Nobody else had anything like that, and then I've seen throughout the years numerous pictures of people having the exact everybody had that little SpongeBob TV. I've come to
Mm.
realize same tables, everything. They had cool parents too that would paint the wall.
My my sister, my mom, before she passed away, was a stay-at-home mom. My sister has really bad ADHD, and she had to take Ritalin when we were kids. But the only thing that would calm her down was SpongeBob. My mom gave her a SpongeBob room. The TV, the bed sheets, the wall, the wallpaper, gi giant SpongeBob toys, and yeah, Sponge her whole room was SpongeBob themed. That is crazy.
See, it's not that unique, and that
I've
just
never met someone with the SpongeBob. Like, everybody else had, like, the Disney car TV, Cars, or the
mhm.
princess one, but I haven't met anybody that said SpongeBob, and it's just so crazy. I was telling my husband about this the other day because my brother came into town. I was like, "Tell him that Josie used to have a SpongeBob room." I feel like he thinks I'm making it up. No, the whole room was SpongeBob.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, there's maybe they're right, there has not been an original thought for the last 80 years.
No, it's crazy.
Well,
Trying to think of something else that we did as kids that everybody else says they've done. I can't remember.
did you guys alright, did you ever go on, like, road trips at all? Like, alright, with the different cars, did you guys ever have, like, radios to before, like, cell phones were super big, like, just, little
The
hand radio.
walkie-talkies,
Yeah, to
we
talk
were where
to
you
cars.
tried to, like, line up the cars, that way you could talk, so that the signal. Yeah, we definitely did that, and then, we would play Kids Fear Factor, me and my cousins, and there was, because I have a bigger family, and, big cousin group would take one walkie-talkie, we'd take the other walkie-talkie, but then they would fuck with us and pretend they were kidnapped by killers, and they do, like, scary voices, and then they lived across the street from a nursing home, and they'd be like, "You see that guy over there? He's the one talking to you guys on the walkie-talkie." But yeah, walkie-talkies were a big part of my childhood.
They alright.
Yeah.
that they're necessities for children.
Yeah.
But the scariest thing that always happened with them, especially when we hardly went on road trips, but when we did, we'd use them. Uh, when we'd pick signal up from somebody else that was on the same frequency, and you're sitting there and you're talking to I'm sitting there talking to my grandma and stuff like that, and then you hear, "Who the hell is this? How'd you get on this channel? Where are you at?"
Candy cane. Have you ever seen Joyride?
No,
Oh my gosh.
I don't
That's a
watch.
movie you do need to watch
All right, I don't watch many
because
movies.
there's a there's a radio aspect to it. Like, oh, I think you'll like it. It's not super scary or gory. It's called Joyride.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, I know some. Oh, it's got the dude from
Paul Walker.
Is it an older movie or a new one?
It's older, 2001.
Oh, they must have made a remake.
Ugh.
I'm looking at the 2023 one,
Uh-uh.
and it's got the dude from Lost in it.
No. Oh,
All right, yeah, Paul Walker. All right, yeah, I'll check it out. But you know what? It's getting kind of late on my end of things.
that's
Uh,
okay.
I'd love to have you back.
Yes.
I'm trying to do more like fun, different kind of things with the show. Just like not even necessarily episodes, but like lives or something, doing stuff like that. Just like topics that aren't typically things that I do on the podcast. I'd love to have you on do one. Maybe have Kevin as well.
Yeah.
Maybe have you guys force me to watch a horror movie or something like that. Talk about it. I think that could be pretty funny. But why don't you tell everybody where they can find you one more time?
I am on YouTube. It's called at Talk Spooky to Me or Connie. And I'm only on Instagram. I am not the best short form content creator. YouTube is my main content place where I post the most. But Instagram, I just, I'm on there like a normal person. We can always chit chat. I'll post funny memes, stuff like that. Sometimes I'll post clips from my YouTube, but just YouTube and Instagram. I am not on X. I'm not on TikTok. No more Facebook. But yeah, talk spooky to me.
All righty, y'all. Go get some follows. Go get some love. Let let her know that you got sent by the big fish. Uh, and yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you in this movie. That for some reason the name is blanking off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Kat.
Secrets of Densmore Manor.
All right, Secrets of Densmore Manor. I can always remember Secrets of the Manor. Secrets of the Manor. All right, and y'all, thank you all for tuning in this week, and be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But more importantly, let's show some love for Kevin. I love seeing my brother succeed. I really, really want to see Kevin succeed. And if you guys are able to in any way, please donate to his Kickstarter. I believe there's a thing going on. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you donate $20+ or something like that, you actually get a pretty cool shirt.
I
Which
know there's some tiers on there. If you do a certain amount, you get something out of it. Um, I don't know off the
I,
top of my head which one is which. Uh,
I know.
but even just a share and a follow, you don't have to donate, but just passing it along helps also.
Yes, be sure to do that. But I do know. I know that you. I don't know. I gotta. Yeah, we'll talk about it next time. There's a tier where you're gonna get a shirt from her character's show from the movie. I know.
Yes.
I'm about to donate here pretty soon, so I can get one of those 6 shirts. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to drive out and fight Kevin for one.
Yeah.
But Connie, thank you so much for being here. This was a blast. It was.
Thank you for having me.
I'm looking forward to talking to you again, and
Yes.
best of luck with this movie. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you all. It's gonna
Thank
be
you.
great. And with that being said, guys, catch you all next week. God bless. Bye.